Hi, my name is Robert Allen. I'm the co-author of Cracking the Millionaire Code, Your Key to Enlightened Wealth. And on this DVD, my co-author and myself, Mr. Mark Victor Hansen, want to share with you how you can achieve financial freedom in the fastest way possible. We're going to talk to you about Cracking the Millionaire Code. And as you watch this next program, you're going to learn how Mark and I teach our proteges. It's in a program we call the Enlightened Wealth Retreat. And as you listen to us talk, you'll learn about what we call enlightened wealth, a new way of achieving financial freedom. Now, at the end of this program, watch very carefully because I want you to have a free copy of this book, a $23 hardcover for your own library for just paying shipping and handling. And there are 2 teleconferences that we want to invite you to be part of. So watch very carefully at the very end of the program and we'll tell you how to achieve that. We want to teach you as much as possible about how you can live this dream called the dream of wealth. And it's possible for you. You can do it. Mark and I have taught thousands of people, and now it's your turn. Good luck. This is your mentor and friend, Mr. Robert Allen, wanting to teach you how to achieve financial freedom now.
Hansen, and I'm just titillated at the fiber of my being to talk to you. You know me as the Chicken Soup guy, the co-creator of a book series called Chicken Soup for the Soul, which is now blown past over 100 million sales, and a 1-minute millionaire, the enlightened way to wealth. But right now, what I want to do is invite you into a cellular experience, meaning that you've had mental experiences and you've had physical experiences. But what if there was an organization, because there finally is one, that hit you at a cellular level? Well, at EMI, Enlightened Millionaire Institute, what we've done is we've created that. Myself and my partners, Bob Allen and Tom Painter, have said, look, let's put together an organization that makes education effortless ease. Makes it so enchanting that you can hardly wait to get there because you're titillated at the fiber of your being, and you know that not only are you going to make a whole lot of money, but you're going to make a difference that makes a difference with people that make a difference. I know this isn't for everybody, but you'll know, your inner knower will say, yes, this is for me. I've heard about transformational learning. I've heard about what Mark's talking about, that you can go from a caterpillar into the right cocoon, get this blitz learning, and go out and become a high-flying butterfly, and you get to participate with other people that want to be enlightened. Now, we get the company that's doing the DNA spiraling up, that is enlightened, that are doing great, grand, and terrific things. Yeah, they're making a lot of money. We have students right now that lost their job because they're 60 now. There's ageism going on, and they got fired, and they didn't save any money, and they read our book, and they went, a husband and wife team went from 0 to $1 million in 4 months and 9 years.
You know what you want. You want a better life. You want something dramatic to happen, to make your life fantastic, and it takes money to do that. Yes, it does. To transform your life, you want to have a lot of money, and you want to have people coach and train you to get to where you want to go. Don't you? That's what I wanted. I wanted to be a millionaire, and I had a mentor to coach me. I would never have made it without that mentorship. Now, we have organized and created a powerful system for mentoring you to where you want to go. And you and I, and a powerful team with a powerful system, are going to be working together. Let's get started right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mark Victor Hansen and Robert G. Allen.
Hello, everybody! Hello, everybody! We want to talk about creating enlightened wealth. And we're not trying to brag that Mark and I are what you would call the poster boys of enlightened wealth. We're not. We're growing just like you are. But we want to give our way to wealth. How many of you want to give your way to wealth? Just think about how one idea has literally transformed lots of people's lives. One idea happened to Mark about 10 years ago, 12 years ago. He and his partner got together, Jack Canfield. They got together with a crazy idea called Chicken Soup for the Soul. Nobody liked that idea. Thought it was the most crazy idea they'd ever heard. Publisher after publisher after publisher says, it's just a collection of short stories. Big deal. But it was an idea that was higher power inspired. It was an idea that they knew was going to be huge. One day, they knew that that book, and those series of books, would be the largest selling series of books in the history of the world. Now, a lot of people, give them a hand, in the history of the world. Why am I talking like this? Forgive me if I get just a little serious. Mark is always having so much fun. You know, a car accident 2 years ago just about killed me. And when you hit a tree at 65 miles an hour in the middle of a rainstorm on the California freeway and you wake up in the hospital not knowing how you got there, your life changes just like that. And everything you used to think was so important becomes almost instantly worthless. And everything that is truly important becomes immediately evident to you. What we want to try to teach you as we start our session together is that we are living what we call the king's new clothes or the emperor's new clothes in reverse. We want to play it just backwards from everybody else. And we want to start as enlightened entrepreneurs to take a message out to the world that we are going to give our way to wealth. So everybody take out a dollar bill, would you please? If you've got a dollar bill in your wallet or purse. All right, so let's hear them. Let's hear them. Let's see if we can hear those dollar bills. All right, you got it. Let's look at it. This is a money seed. You plant this in the ground, it grows. Look on the back side where it's just where it says 1. It's right there on our money, isn't it? It's amazing how we were supposed to have a separation of church and state. Didn't separate it here, did they? No. Now we're going to take this dollar bill and we have to make it grow. Now if you've heard in the 1 Minute Millionaire and Multiple Streams of Income, we talk about how this dollar bill grows. If you put $1 a day the day you were born, your parents did, well, how much money would there be in your mattress by the time you reached retirement age 66 years later? How much money would there be underneath your mattress at 0% interest? It'd be about 25,000 of these underneath your mattress. It'd be a pretty lumpy mattress, right? Now, if we put that and made it grow a little bit, if we fertilized it by putting it in some bank account where it could grow, this single dollar bill would grow into about $75,000 at 3%. If I could get a place where I could get 3%.
Yeah, there are 3 functions of money. You got the amount of money. Everyone say amount.
Amount.
You got the rate of interest, which is what Bob's talking about. Say rate. And then you've got time. Everyone? Time. There's no other functions. Everything fits those 3 functions. You've got to memorize those 3 functions, just like you got to memorize the law of 72, which we'll do in just a minute.
Now, there's a lot of debate lately about, Bush is trying to change the Social Security system. The Social Security system could be fixed in 66 years from today if every single parent with every child that was born put $1 a day away for them and then figured out a way for that money to grow. Let me show you what happens with it. At 3% interest, you could buy a government bond for that. It'd be $75,000 at age 65. If I could get it 5% interest, still at a government bond, at 5% interest would make that $1 bill per day grow into about $200,000.
And that's a double tax-free. Yeah, that means no tax.
That's down the road, obviously, and that money may not be worth $200,000 at that time. If I could get that money to grow at 10%, now you're going to be seen in the next 4 days, you're going to be shown way after way after way after way where you can take that money and grow at least 10%. You're going to be shown ways you can make your money grow at 100% or 200% or 500%, let alone just 10. But if I could get it to grow at 10, the single dollar a day would grow into $2.75 million.
Everyone go.
On $1 a day.
That's 2,750,000. Everybody in America can be rich. Bob and I no longer say, do you want to be a millionaire? You need to be. Everyone touch yourself and say, I need to be.
I need to be a millionaire.
Give your neighbor a knuckle jive. Say, you need to be a millionaire.
You may not need to be a millionaire if you live in Kansas, but if you live in California, you need to be a millionaire. The word million is not enough. You need 5 or 10, yes or yes? If you could take this money, the same dollar bill, and have it grow at 15%, just a little stretch, you got to get it to really make it work, that same dollar a day grows into $50 million by the time that little baby is ready for retirement. If I can get this dollar a day to grow at 20%, this same dollar that tiny little baby started with would grow into $1 billion.
Everyone say $1 billion.
$1 billion. There's some people in this room right now who don't know where the next mortgage payment is going to come from. We know because we have been there. We know what it's like to go to a mailbox full of bills that you cannot pay. I know personally what it's like to have the IRS steal a car right out of my driveway. I know what it's like to be so horrifically embarrassed to even show my face at church because I thought they would know how stupid I was. And frankly, I had been stupid. And finally when I just really admitted and said, wait a second, I am not going to play the emperor's old clothes game anymore. I am going to change my life. I'm going to start and I'm going to build my life in a totally different way. And the first thing I did, from the absolute bottom of my hole, when there was nothing left, where there was so much debt in my life I didn't think I would ever get out, the first decision I made is that whenever I get $1, I don't care where it comes from, God, I will give you the first 10% of it for the rest of my life. If I never make another dime, and I didn't think I ever would. I frankly never thought I would ever be on a stage like this with a man as great as Mark Victor Hansen. I never thought I would. But I said, as soon as every dollar I get, no matter where it comes from, you get the first 10% of it. Just tell me where you want me to give it. I don't care. And then let me spend the other 90% on something else. I'll spend it on me. But you get the first 10%. How many of you have started to become, or I've been tithing more regularly? How many of you do that now? Let me see you raise your hands on that.
Thank you.
Do you think that it is an accident that we have been attracted to each other? Do you think it was an accident that you saw on television commercial, you got a direct mail piece or something, or maybe you picked up a copy of The 1 Minute Millionaire, or you somehow or other, how many of you felt that you were kind of attracted to the way we do what we do as a result of it kind of was almost magical how you kind of stumbled onto us? Let me say raise your hands on that, like, oh my goodness, how did this happen? Do you think it's an accident? And Mark and I don't believe it's an accident, but we're not going to be here to try to tell you the lie about who we are. We'll tell you what our problems are, what our foibles have been. You know, we both had bankruptcies in our career. We know how bad it is. It's terrible. But it happens to 1.4 million people in America have that happen this year. This year, 1,400,000 Americans will have declared bankruptcy. And they just changed the new laws on it. What we're trying to tell you is that if you can go from where we've been, where we've come from, anyone in this room, as much as you may not think you can, well, maybe you can't by yourself. As a matter of fact, you can't by yourself. But if you start to build your foundation on principles that are correct, the money will start to flow to you. If you can prove that you will give it away, higher power will give you more. If you prove you give more of it away, more of it will start to flow to you until higher power says, now there's a person I can trust with the money. Up to this point, you just get it in every way you can. Most of the time, the money does get to your head. The money does kind of rust in your soul sometimes. But when you have made the decision that you don't own it, that it isn't yours, that you're going to steward it, that you're going to let it flow through you, that you're going to find groups of people who can be blessed with the money that flows through you. And yes, you will enjoy, and you will live in a nice house, you'll drive a nice car, you'll travel, you'll enjoy all of that stuff. In addition, the first of the money flows through your life. Higher power says, there's a person that I can trust with the money. The money didn't get to them. And therefore, as bad as it may seem financially for some of you, start there and start watching miracles slowly. Don't expect too much. Slowly start happening.
So the question is, what was our vision? But more importantly, touch yourself, say, what's my vision?
What's my vision?
Because without vision, we perish. With vision, touch yourself, say, I flourish. Everyone?
Your vision has got to be so big you're too afraid to, you know you can't do it by yourself. You know you can't. If you're setting a goal like I want to become a millionaire, big deal. It's not enough. You have to set it big enough that you have to have other team members to help you, and you have to bring higher power in part of the game. Our goal was we wanted to create a network of enlightened millionaires dedicated to doing good in the world. That's 1 million people. We've attracted people to our Millionaire Hall of Fame, and they're starting to conglomerate a little bit at first, and now it's starting to really go like crazy.
And some of you are going to fill that in before you leave here. And some of you, the other part that Bob and I we just talked about at my office this afternoon, we want you to pledge to yourself right now. Write down how much you're going to really give. If you're going to give $1 million, write it down, because then you're going to be up 10 million, and we think that is a minimum. Everyone say minimum.
Minimum.
We want you to be making, first of all, learn how this year to make $1 million a year. Then we want you, because if you make $1 million, you went through 50,000, 100,000, $250,000, $500,000, $750,000. But then we want you to get to 10 million a year, where you live on 3 and give away 7. Everyone go, wow. We're changing the paradigm, because remember, it's state of mind. God is infinite, and if God is infinite, then God in you is infinite, and if God in you is infinite, then infinite is allowing you to have everything. But, oh, not me, man. I just want to work for a minimum wage. I want to retire and go to Hawaii when I can't enjoy it. Why? I want you to go to Hawaii like our friend Art Linkletter I'm writing a book with, who still surfs at 95, still skis 6 weeks of winter at 95, still has 20,000 employees, has got a brand new Duke solar power. It's as little as your thumbnail that's going to solar electrify the whole planet this year, owns the world's biggest ranch with 1 million acres in Australia, the biggest sheep ranch, and enjoys himself to the hilt at 95. Because age, unfortunately, the government has sold you, rip us off at 65 and get Social Security. Well, the president is telling you, if you aren't listening, there's no money in the till. It was a Ponzi scheme. We never expected to pay you. We don't expect to pay you. We're bankrupt now. We're going to be more bankrupt later, so take care of yourself. That's what he's saying. If you cut the bull, that's half a word. The real truth is, who's got to take care of you? Everyone say, I'm taking care of me.
I'll take care of me.
Was that too rough?
No, that's the truth. We want you to be, obviously, create a way so that you're connected with higher power so you can discover what your $1 million idea is, the one that was destined for you. Higher power knows how to get you there in the fastest possible way. We've decided we wanted to set some goals that were big, obviously, to have $1 billion worth of wealth that we've created through our students.
This year. Everyone say this year.
This year.
Everyone say, part of that is mine. Part of that is mine. Shake your neighbor's hand right and left and enthusiastically look him in the right eye. That gets him in the left brain. Say, part of that is yours.
Part of that is yours.
Now, it could be a little part if that's all you'll give yourself, or it can be a big part. Everyone take your hand and say a big part. We want you to catch on to a big part, because it's not that somebody else will have less, because when you have more, everybody has more.
We have helped some people. Obviously, here $572 million has been generated so far in what we call the Millionaire Hall of Fame. How many of you have logged on and put your name into the Millionaire Hall of Fame? May I see you raise hands on that?
No, Bob and I are not allowed to put our names in because we'd skew it a little bit, so that's not...
Yeah. None of the giving, the charitable giving that is listed up here is our giving. We can't put ourselves up there. So this is all you. This $11 million that was given since we put this up about 18 months ago was given by you. You guys did this.
There's over 10 million. And by the way, this is, most of you are going into equity products, which means you're going to be giving on the way out when you're taking money in. But even I believe that when you refinance, and the first time my wife and I refinanced a property, we pulled out $60,000. We immediately wrote a check for $6,000 because you're supposed to tithe immediately. And I went to put it in a post box, and I went, man, I could buy a lot more property with this, God. I don't really think I should do this. I put it in. Within minutes, the bank, Huntington Savings and Loan, called back. They gave us off 2 points. Now, a point is 1,000 per 100,000. We got back 2,000 a year times 30-year loan. We got back 60,000 on 6,000. Totally impossible. I did not coerce the bank. I didn't call the bank and say, I just tithe. Hey, look, you ought to go multiply this. You ought to tenfold this. Big G and I have been talking, and this is the way it is. It works. Because it's a bigger system than you're dealing with. But most of you are stuck in a sidereal system, and you're stuck in a physical. And Bob and I are saying, look, get to the mental, the metaphysical, but then let's go all the way up to the spiritual, and let's go to the highest heights. Let's go to that exalted, ecstatic state of being where there's no lack. Everyone say no lack. And there's fundamental plenty. Everyone say fundamental plenty.
The reason that a lot of us don't believe these kinds of things is because we've been raised in a world that does not believe what we've been saying to you.
Because scarcity looks like it exists.
We live in a very skeptical world. I mean, they even think about, when you even say the word tithing, they almost say, oh, some rich, greedy preacher is going to get that, you know? And so immediately with that image in their mind, they just shut it off. So I'm not going to give. Well, you don't have to give it to some rich, greedy preacher. Who do you want to give it to? And more importantly, when you let that ponder in your heart and you say, higher power, this is your money. Where do you want me to give it as quickly as possible? And thoughts will come to your mind. You will find yourself just almost effortlessly and magically finding people that you need to give it to. People that need it more than you do. People who you were destined to give it to. There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about that when you pay your tithing, that the windows of heaven will be opened to you. And I didn't really ever understand that much because I went, how does higher power open these windows? I don't see any windows. Where are the windows of heaven?
Where are the windows, Bob?
And then I read a book, Spiritual Economics, I think is what it's called. And he
Eric,
said,
Dr. Eric.
Yeah, there was Eric. He said, you are the windows of heaven.
Everyone say, I'm the windows of heaven. I'm opening my windows, everybody. I know that some of you say that's pretty evangelical, but if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be doing that. So, you know.
In other words, you become who higher power opens the windows through. You say, I am your window.
Everyone say, I am your window.
I'm your window. So where do you want me to open to?
This is a paradigm shift, so we get your feet and hands going in the same direction, which is the way universe goes. Most of us are counterpulsative rather than the way we should be. We've got to move forward a little bit.
So we want to create some success stories. Oh, by the way, there's a friend of ours. Who wants to be an enlightened millionaire, I guess is what we want to talk about. Who wants to be a millionaire? Who wants to be an enlightened millionaire? See everybody's hands on that one?
Say, I do.
Is that your final answer? Yeah. Okay. Now here's what $1 million bill looks like. And you know, when you've seen this, actually you've seen some of these bills before. They look very real. They look like $1 million bill, doesn't it? See it up there? It looks pretty real, doesn't it? Yeah. Now
you print them in your garage.
the $1 million that the millionaire in the old television show used to give, and they would show up at somebody's doorstep and they would go, "Here is $1 million," as if the power was in the money. No, the power isn't in the money. Because once they've spent that $1 million, what do they have? They didn't know how they made it. No, when Mark and I show up at the doorstep, and we really do see ourselves doing this on our show, ding dong, we're going to give you a fake $1 million so you can look kind of what one looks like. And then when we come into your house and we sit in your couch right there in the living room, we're going to show you how the money has always been within 6 feet of you.
Let me just give one quick example. I met the dentist who took a little piece of string. All of you have had a piece of string. Turned it into a thing called dental floss. He has so far outsourced it. Everyone say outsourced it?
Outsourced.
Because you got to learn how to outsource. That's one of the things we're going to teach, because you're not here to do the work. You're here to do the thinking. Point at yourself and say the thinking.
The thinking.
This is why Napoleon Hill, who we're standing on Knapp's shoulders, Dr. Hill's shoulders, because it's think and grow. Don't think, stay stupid and poor and unhealthy. We want you to think, grow rich, be healthy, happy, fulfilled, generous, contributing. One little piece of string, he told me he made $2 billion.
On a piece of string?
On a piece of string. Everyone say, I can do this. Because the future of the world depends on who? Everyone say me. The whole world's depending on your knowledge working, coming up to new heights, and Bob and I are asking you to go to a new level.
Well, a level of newness. Well, no, really, it's right here in this room, too. When you think about it, everything you see in this room, besides us, everything we're wearing, everything on the walls, every physical thing you see in this room made somebody millions of dollars. Everything you see. The clothes you're wearing, shoes, necklace there, your glasses, every single thing you can see right now made somebody millions of dollars. What happened when you decide that you could take something you can see right now with your own eyes, sitting in your own living room, and you make the decision, well, how could I take that and make it better? Every single object you touch for the rest of your life is $1 million seed. Some of them you were destined to change. Higher power said, that's your idea. And other ideas will come to you and you'll go, no, that's not mine, that's not mine, that's not mine, that's mine, that's mine. Oh, but that one's mine. And something will feel right and you'll say, yeah, that was mine. And if each of us did that, you would get the thing you were destined to do. And we would all be blessed by it. You would get the thing you were destined to do, and we would all be blessed by it. You would get the thing you were destined to do, and we would all be blessed by it. Most of us don't listen. And we don't believe that we were destined to become billionaires. Forget about the $1 million number. We could all destined to become billionaires if we just plant the right kinds of seeds. to you. Give me. Oh, that's right. Besides that, I want to know how many of you want a $1 million bill. So come and get a million. Let's give these away. These are just pieces of paper. But I want you to let's take these $1 million and let's turn them into billions. All right. Yours out. Get yours out. So they'll be. Mark's got some too, you know. So the book we've written about that is called Cracking the Millionaire Code. Your key to enlightened wealth. Each of you has a different key. Each of your codes are different. Everyone sitting next to you has 4 different codes. But as you crack all of those 4 of those codes, you step into a life of absolute abundance. On February 23rd, 2005, we gathered a group of 153 people, and we launched the first Cracking the Millionaire Code. How many of you were there at that event?
Stand up, stand up, stand up.
Yeah,
Give them a round of applause for having the courage to come out.
Give them a hand. We knew that we needed 101 days, and 101 days ends on June the 3rd. On June the 3rd is the day when the whole event kind of comes to a close. So we started as a group of people, and there was 158 of us. So not all of us made it into that exact picture, but there's Mark and I and Pat Burns down at the bottom, and here's a group of people in the background. And we said to all of them, we wanted to circle every face so that as each person achieved their own personal cracking of millionaire code, we would put a circle around their face. I wonder if it's been about 50 days now since we taught this. Has any one of those people have a circle around their face having achieved $1 million in net profit in 50 days, starting from the day we were together? Well, don't be too excited about not everybody. There is just a tiny number. But remember, we're on our way with them. If you go to the Millionaire Hall of Fame, you'll be able to see their names and what they've been able to accomplish. It's all posted up there because they post their own stories. We've already generated over $1 million. And as we look around this, we start to see the faces we've now gone to circle. And what our goal is that by the June the 3rd, almost every one of those faces is going to be circled with some profit, some money they've made, 10,000, 15,000, 75, 100, 200, 300, 500, maybe even $1 million. Is it possible that one of them, 2 of them, maybe a handful of them, could actually in 101 days make a net million? Is that possible?
Neil Cavuto wants you on the show with us, and Neil wants to air you, and he wants to air you 18 times. So some of you that will make the money will get to tell your story. I mean, we got 115 people that have made $1 million with us in the last 2 years, brand new. But are the rest of you able to do it in a very short time? The answer is?
Yeah.
Now, the belief has got to be up to you, because we already believe for you, so now all you got to do is energize. Everyone say, I got to energize it.
Energize.
Because this is a global operation. You just happen to be at our local operation here in Anaheim tonight. But we are operative globally, and a lot of you are going to be meeting and befriending people in Spain and Guatemala and Malaysia and Singapore and Japan and places that you've not been yet, and Nigeria. And a chief from Mozambique was in our seminar this weekend, and he wants to take all of you to places, the 76 countries in Africa, because I'll be touring very shortly with Nelson Mandela. We'll have 500,000 per seminar that are going to participate with us, and we're going to turn around Africa before most Americans are awake to what we're doing.
We want to play Monopoly with real money. How many want to play with Monopoly with real money, not just as a game, but an enlightened game? What we've now started to acquire are some of the people who have achieved their enlightened status. And we're not saying that every person who's ever made $1 amongst our groups has done it in a totally enlightened way. I'm sure there have been all kinds of ways that we make our funds, but we're trying to attract 101 enlightened millionaires to take with us to New York City on the 3rd of June. To launch with us this brand new book, Cracking the Millionaire Code. If you have achieved $1 million status, we want to invite you to what we call the Millionaire Summit. This 4-day event, there's no tuition for it. There's no charge. Obviously, you'll get yourself there and pay the hotels, etc., but we want to gather 101 of our best enlightened millionaires there who can prove you have a net worth of that. If you're part of our students, there's no charge for you.
And that's what we're doing. We're inviting you to take a tour with us. We're going to walk you through the BEA, Book Expo of America, 60,000 authors.
Before we go there, we'll probably go to Random House. This is what Random House's lobby looks like.
Owned by Bertelsmann, which is the biggest company in the book business in the world, and they own the biggest book company in America called Random House. That's me standing at the counter. But by the way, let me tell you why they do this. Just one more thing. They do full security on Bob and I whenever we come in, so if you're with us, you'll get full security. Because the first time we came in with butterflies. And what happened is we released the butterflies, right? We had them in dry ice, then we released them, and they fly around. And people were diving under the table going, they're from California, bugs, you know. So the
true, we did this. We actually did release real live butterflies at our publisher's main boardroom. Real butterflies. Have you ever done that before? Oh, it's amazing.
Remember, you're here to have fun. What are you here to have? Woo!
On Sunday, we're going to teach you the 4 codes you have to crack. You have to crack your destiny code. You have to crack what we call the PRISM code. It's creating a product, a service, information, a media event, something that spells that word PRISM. It's an acronym. A prism that has the light of higher powered flowing through you, refracting into multiple streams of magnificent income for you. That's the PRISM code. The STAR code and the ANGEL code are the 2 other codes. The ANGEL code is how you attract people to help you, people that are destined to help you, and you destined to help them. How do you attract people in a way that you can trust them? And then how do you find what we call the stars that are out there? There are so many customers that are waiting for your help. And if you treat them like stars, they'll keep bringing their friends back and back and back. If you could just take a customer and love them in such a way that they really appreciated what you did for them and invited just one other person to come into the company that you have, just one customer per year. If every one of your customers did that, it would double your business every single year. You know how long it would take you for a doubling business every year for you to become a billionaire? If you'll just crack this STAR code, I promise you, the billions will flow into your life. $1 billion have flowed into our life. The billions have flowed in for the businesses that we have created. It's not net income, but it's certainly gross income. And those billions of dollars are going to flow into yours too. We want to show, when you get the book, we're going to show you how to enter the Millionaire Code Vault. The vault, every one of us has a vault. You all have one. Everybody does. You have multi-million dollars worth of fortune just waiting for you if you learn how to crack your own codes. And this is going to be the beginning of our website is going to be about, kind of like something like that. And would you like to come inside our vault? Yeah. Well, you want to come inside and wander around in our vault and then wander around your own, yeah?
The first thing we do in 1 Minute Millionaire, it says, you write down, I'm so happy I'm on schedule to be a millionaire. If you've never written it, write it now. Sign it and get your neighbor to sign it. I'm so happy I'm on schedule to be a millionaire, and put a time. I'm so happy, and that includes the kids in here. I'm so happy I'm on schedule to be a millionaire, because the minute you make the decision and consciousness goes into your subconscious makes a provision. You say, well, I want to be stupid and broke my whole life. You'll stay stupid and broke. It's just not a good affirmation. It's counterproductive.
Now, here was a survey that just came out this last 2 weeks ago from the Gallup poll. It asked the question, how many of you want to become or have your own business? And looking at the numbers here, find that if you're 18 to 29 years old, 72% of our young people want to be in their own business. The older you get, obviously, it seems like the numbers go down by age, March 18th, 19 to 20. I mean, most people in America want to have their own business. Here's what the percentages are. Of all Americans, 57% of all Americans, 90% of whom do work at a job. Most people work at a job, but the vast majority of Americans, North Americans, want to be their own boss. Those who are employed, 61% of them don't want to work for anybody else. They want to have their own job. And they are going to float around this world, and they're going to come up with an idea like you're going to come up with, and they're going to say, I'm going to start a business. And what's the probability that the person who starts that business today, and we were talking about this on Wednesday night, starts that business today, by this time next year, how many of those people who launched today will be still in business? Half of them will be gone. But 5 years, 95% of them will be gone. Most of them will fail. They're going to fail their way. As if you're an entrepreneur or a serial entrepreneur,
we want you to be a serious entrepreneur and have a real MBA, which means not an MBA like he's got, which is a Master of Business Administration, but a millionaire's bank account. Everyone say, I'm ready.
Bank account. So what we're trying to teach you today is that if you're going to just do it in a normal, ordinary way, the odds are 95% against you for you to just launch a business in a normal, ordinary way. We spent a lot of time with Glenn Purdy privately yesterday, and he brought up a thought that I keep forgetting, frankly. He said, if you're going to make it in real estate, guess what do you have to figure out in real estate to really make it work? Frankly, if you're buying and selling property that's already developed, somebody owned it, got in trouble and had to sell it, there's really only about one thing you need to figure out, how to find a highly motivated seller and then buy it. It's just one thing you got to do. If you want to launch a business, though, you have to have about 6 or 7 things to do in order to make it work. Just think about the things you have to make it work. You got an idea in your head, that's one thing. What else do you have to do to get that idea to actually produce money for you?
Plan.
Got to have a plan. All right, what else got to come? Come on, give me some more.
Get a team.
Got a team of people. Got to have employees. Yep, what else? Got to do some marketing. Got to write marketing pieces and advertising. Yep, what else?
Some money.
I got to get some money. Got to finance it. I got to manufacture the darn thing. Whatever is it? Is it an idea, a service, a product, whatever? And then I've got to service the customers. I got to take care of them. I mean, there are a lot of things that have to be done in order for you to be successful in business, where there's a very few things that need to be done in order for you to be successful in real estate. But real estate is just one of our streams of income. You should have real estate and a business and the stock market and a whole bunch of other things. But when it comes to business, some of us have businesses. How many of you have a business where you're marketing a service or an idea or a product right now? Let me see you raise your hands on that. See, look at these entrepreneurs. Lots of you. What we're trying to do in Cracking the Millionaire Code is to show you that in order for it to be successful, to get through all the problems of making this business work, because we all want to make our businesses work, you're going to have to learn how to crack the code. And so cracking the wealth code is about cracking these